everyone, my name is Alyssa, and for my presentation or literature focus unit, I did a unit of K through 3. So what did I do? The introduction, the overview of what it is. This literature focus unit will allow the students to learn about the lives of butterflies. Through this unit, kindergarteners will have the opportunity to observe the changes that a butterfly goes through during its life cycle. The students will learn that 6 required instructions: phonemic awareness, phonics and spelling, vocabulary, comprehension, fluency, and writing. They will also be assessed and assigned work throughout the week. The standards that I used are for the RIK2, the prompting and supporting, identifying the main topic and retell key details of a text. The RFL3, know and apply grade level phonics and word analysis skills on decoding words both in isolation and in the text. Writing, use a combination of drawing, dictating, and writing to compose informative, explanatory text in which they name what they are writing about and apply some information about the topic. They also do some speaking. They'll participate in collaboration with diverse partners about kindergarten topics, so butterflies. And then for LK1, demonstrate command of the convention of the standard English grammar and usage when writing or speaking. So I split this up as in days. There's about 8 activities that you will do throughout I did about 8 days. I know we were supposed to do a week, but butterflies don't hatch butterflies don't transform until about 2 weeks after you receive them. So the very first day, activity 1. The time will be about 20 to 15 minutes, depending on how long it might take to write the sentences. So introduction. I will place a jar of caterpillars on a table where all the children can see. As a class, we will make observations. We'll talk about maybe the different caterpillars, different sizes, what they look like, and then we will use complete sentences on a poster paper. So we'll get a huge poster paper, and we'll write complete sentences on a poster paper. Each student will have a journal to write in and write those observation sentences. One predicting sentence, they will get to draw a picture of each one. So, observation sentences. As the teacher, I will be writing or giving sentences, observation sentence structures. So what it would look like, first sentence is, the caterpillars are blank. The children would fill it in. Or the caterpillars look like blank, and they would fill that in. A more advanced would, one caterpillar has blank and another caterpillar has blank. So one caterpillar has a green back, and another caterpillar has a pink back, or something to do with color. I will then ask the students what they predict will happen to each of the caterpillars. As a class, we will make predictions, and we will then write prediction sentences. It will be, I predict the caterpillar will eat a lot of fruit. Or I predict the green caterpillar will be the biggest one out of all of them. Or I predict the smallest caterpillar will be the most beautiful butterfly. So they will be able to write one of these sentences, one of each, so a prediction and a prediction and a observation sentence, and then they will write them in their writing journal, and then they will create a picture depicting it, an illustration. Once we have completed their sentences, we will, as a class, we will make a KWL chart, and we'll make a big one on the back wall. I mean, you can give them, you can do handouts, but I think for kindergarten it'd be important to have a big one so that they can visually see it all the time. So as a class, we will make the KWL chart about caterpillars on the back of the wall of the classroom. I will introduce what it is. K stands for what we know, W stands for what we wonder, and L stands for what we've learned about the caterpillars towards the end of the unit. As a class, we will fill out the K part. We will fill out what we already know about caterpillars. While we know, in our observation, we saw that they have a certain amount of legs, or they like to eat something that we've put in the jar. And we'll put those in the K section. Then as a class, we will fill out the W part of the chart. I will ask the students what they wonder. So you might have some students ask, do caterpillars, or can caterpillars die? Yeah, maybe they can. We don't know. We'll have to find out. Or do caterpillars all turn into butterflies? Maybe. We'll have to find out. And then at the very end of this unit, or this activity 1, they will learn 2 sight words, are and look. And you would go over that with them through sentences, or talk about the different words, like look. How can we use look in a sentence? I looked at the caterpillars. Good. Just to kind of help them remember the sight words. Day 2, very next day. Activity 2, this time should be about 45 minutes. As a class, they will read The Very Hungry Caterpillar. There will also be an animation of the story, so the children can watch it and read it at the same time if you choose to. Before we even begin the book, we will go over where the title is in the book, where the authors can be found, where's the title page. I will ask them how I should read the book, left from right, right to left. As a class, we will talk about the different things it ate through when we're done doing the before our reading, when we're done doing the different parts of the book, we'll read it as a class, and then we'll talk about the different things that the caterpillar ate. I'll ask the students individually what the caterpillar ate and allow them to look back in the book for their resources. We will discuss how the caterpillars changed throughout the book. After we read the book, we will then do the KWL chart, and we will put in more information on what we know, and then maybe in what we wonder. Then, same day, activity 3. This should also take about 45 minutes. Sorry, that's my dog. Take about 45 minutes, and this will be in centers. You'll have, let me see, 2 centers. First center, this will take about 45 minutes, like I said. This first center is a listening center activity for The Very Hungry Caterpillar. After we've made adjustments to the KWL chart, the students will be grouped into groups. Within their groups, they will help each other retell a caterpillar story using paper cutouts of the different content in the book. So on my lesson, I went ahead and put all the little fruits and the caterpillar on a piece of paper, and you would cut them out, and then you'd give the groups each paper of those on, and they would retell the story of how the caterpillar, what he did, what he was eating, and the process of how he changed, and they would reenact the story. This is where they learn comprehension. This allows them to read a book and be able to retell it just like as they read it. This will also let them practice naming key ideas or events in a story. For ELL adaptation, I will provide an online version of a primary language they speak. So I actually put a Spanish version in my lesson plan layout, and the students could listen to a Spanish version of The Very Hungry Caterpillar. In Center 2, the students will use phonetic writing to record what we have learned about the caterpillar so far. The students will get out their journals again and use sentences to explain what they have learned The students may also choose to create a picture and label their picture instead. The students are using phonetic sounds to write their sentences. I will give them an example of the caterpillar crawls on my coat, or the butterfly likes to fly under the night sky. They will create sentences that have words with the same beginning sounds or ending sounds. The students will underline the words with the same ending or beginning sounds. At the very end of this activity or the day, the students will learn 2 more sight words. The words out and the word the. And of course, use them in a sentence or give it to them in a way that they're going to remember them. But they will also write them down in their journals just like they did the other time. Day 3, activity 4. This will be about 45 minutes. This is a close reading activity. The book that we're using is A Butterfly is Born. Making predictions about the book from the cover illustration and title. As a class, we will take a picture walkthrough of the book and point out pictures and using book vocabulary. This is when you introduce vocabulary. So words that they're going to use to describe a caterpillar through the rest of the unit. So larva, pupa, and metaphase. The students will learn what they mean. And as a class, we will create a huge flow map on paper for sequence of events of the caterpillar of the book too. Documented movie. The students will watch a movie or a little video on YouTube about a caterpillar and the processes it goes through, so they can actually visually see it as well as listen to it and read it. They are going to, as vocabulary goes, as a class we will write 1 sentence for each vocabulary word in our butterfly journals, and we will draw a picture for each one. So larva, and pupa, and metamorphosis, we will make sentences for those 3 vocabulary words. And at the very end of the day or beginning of the day, the students will learn 2 more sight words, with and from. Day 4, activity 5. This should take about 45 minutes. This is again close reading activity, text independent questions. As a class, we will revisit The Butterfly is Born book with another picture walkthrough. I will present the students with 9 questions about the book, and as a class, we will reread the text and find the answers. So the questions go from, let me see, goes from what kind of animal is a butterfly? What is nectar? What is the first stage of a butterfly's life? What is the next stage? Why does the caterpillar eat a lot of leaves? How will we know when a caterpillar is ready to change? What is a pupa? What is the next stage in a butterfly's life? Can a butterfly fly as soon as it emerges? How do you know? I would only ask these questions one at a time, and if it takes longer to get through the questions, that's all right. We want the students to understand the different life cycle of the butterfly, and what it goes through. So 9 questions, that's a lot, but if you can get through them, awesome. But you really want to go into detail and talk about it and discuss, the different life cycles of the butterfly. So again, the students will learn 2 new sight words, then and what. We will also go over the KWL chart again, and we will look and see if there's anything new that we know, or is there anything new that we wonder about the butterfly, and we'll put those back up. We'll put those up on the KWL chart. Day 5, activity 6. This should take about 45 minutes. They will learn 2 sight words, has and little. This is a reading vocabulary activity. As a class, we will read Butterfly Magic. Before we begin reading, I will introduce 2 new vocabulary words, chrysalis and nectar. As we read the Butterfly Magic, we will look for new vocabulary words, so chrysalis and nectar. And once we are done reading, we will make updates to the KWL chart. They will also circle all the sight words they see within the book. So we will, as a group, we will look at the book and we will circle, we'll write them on the board and we'll circle the ones that we see in the book. Activity 7, the students create their own book of all the content vocabulary we have covered. So butterfly, larva, pupa, chrysalis, nectar, and metamorphosis. And I put the book on my laptop so that you guys can see it. And I'll show you at the very end so that you guys can see what they look like. So day 6, activity 8, time about 50 minutes. And we'll review 15 minutes before. So maybe about 60 minutes of it. As a class, we will review the things that we have written on the KWL chart. We will check to see if questions were answered or if the students, were able to answer their own questions throughout this time. We will finally fill out the L part, what we learned about the butterfly. As a class, we will put down all the new vocabulary, new ideas, and observations we have discovered about the butterflies. This will be the review part for the students. So this should take about 15-20 minutes. The students will have 3 assignments, 3 major assignments. Those are the assessments to make sure, that they were able to comprehend what they learned throughout the 7 days. 8 days, sorry. So assignment 1 is a class project. This should take about 45 minutes. If it takes longer, that's okay. The students will introduce to the class their butterfly journeys or journals. Throughout the weeks, the students have been writing sentences, drawing pictures, and things that they've learned about the butterflies. They will now share this with their classmates and their sentences and, tell us about their pictures. Each student will do this. If there's an ELL student who is not very good with speaking, have him do it on another time, not in front of everybody, but have him do it one-on-one with a teacher and have him explain, or her, what his content is and his sentences and his pictures. So that's the one in-class project. Day 7, assignment 2. This is a take-home project. Honestly, it should only take about 45 minutes, nothing longer. It's not something that's, very big. It's just something very little, and it shouldn't take very long for the students and the parents to put it together. The students will have 3 choices to share the information they have learned. Choice 1, the students may paint or draw the life cycle of a butterfly with help of the parent. 2, the students may use a poster presentation, a song they found on the internet, to explain what they learned with their parents. With the help of their parents, of what they've learned about the butterfly cycle. So they can find a song on the internet if they choose and bring it into class and share it. The last is the students may use different shaped pasta to explain the life cycle of a butterfly, and then they should have the help of their parents to put it all together. You could use the different kind of pastas, the bow for the wings and the little, I don't even know what they're all called, but the different kind of, and I should put a list on them, but of pastas of creating the life cycle of the butterfly. Something creative. The last assessment is all the sight words that the students learned. This should take about 30 minutes. It's kind of like a spelling test. The students will take an oral or a written word test they may pick on the words that they've learned throughout the week. So the words are the are, look, out, the, with, from, then, what, has, and little. So they may choose to spell them orally, or they may choose to write them down do like a spelling test. So, their butterfly journals, each student will go over the assessments and the different materials that are within this project. So their journals look something like, I can show you guys. Their journals look something like this. Their name, a picture, and then, you know, where they can write it. So an illustration. Oops, too far. Oh, this is their retelling of the caterpillar book, the retelling of the story, and you would cut all those out and the students would retell the story of what he ate and how he changed into a butterfly and flying away, so they could retell the story. This is the book that they are creating. It's already put together, but they're going to draw and finish the sentences. So there's a butterfly name. It's the Butterfly Life Cycle book. And they'll fill in, look at the leaf. Look at the eggs. They are little. So there's the leaf with eggs. Then we have, look at the caterpillar. It is eating. And then you have, look at the chrysalis. It is still. And look at the butterfly. It is flying. Look at the eggs. Oh, look at the butterfly. It is laying eggs. And here is the rubric for the butterfly book. It's very simple. There's a rubric for the butterfly journals, and there is a rubric for the take-home project for butterflies as well. So that's pretty much it, and I hope that explains what my project is. Sorry that I didn't have any, papers to kind of show you personally. My computer's not working, or my printer's not working, so, but I tried to explain as much as I could. I hope that this can be very helpful with the literature unit. There's 3 different kind of books. There's a fiction and then 2 nonfiction books. And the fiction book is the very first book that you bring in, helps the kids see all the different colors, and yeah, so hope that's helpful, and hope you guys liked my literature focus unit. Bye!